Alright, greetings. I am David, and this is Going Medieval. This is an early access game, but it's taken Steam by storm at the moment. A lot of Let's Players are doing this game. So we're just gonna do standard with normal difficulty. Um, and I think we'll do a new life. That's your sort of standard three people starting. So, if you don't know anything about this game, it's very similar to RimWorld in the sense that it's like a colony builder. And it definitely takes a lot from RimWorld in its inspiration. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and random because that was my friend's last one. I kind of like this. I think that looks nice. Two more. Maybe Valley. Here's the random seed if you would like to do that. So we could start in the valley, start in the hillsides, or start in the mountains. The mountains would mean that we would have a lot less flat land. I think the valley is honestly fine. Sorry. So we have three people. As far as I'm aware, you can't change their sort of stats outside of just randomizing a new person, which that is one downside. So, Audrey, animal handling. I don't know if animal handling is even a thing yet in this game, or if it's planned to be in the future. Maybe you have to build fences before you can tame animals, but it never came up in my playthrough. I like the 18 construction with passion for it. That's pretty nice. Melee's not bad. Smithing, Tailoring. Construction's the big one here. We have Cameron, also good marksmanship, medicine, mining, and tailoring. And I think we're going to random this guy. Mood target, callous. And I mean, he's really good intellectual, or possibility of being an intellectual, but I would really like someone with a better botany skill, or at least passion for botany. Okay. Most of these perks are usually kind of bad. That's actually not great. Again, it'd be kind of nice to have someone with a better intellectual, or at least a passion for it, that had passion elsewhere as well. But like, I think this is fine for now. So let's go ahead and start. So embark. So again, this is early access, so not everything in the game, there isn't, this game is not completely finished. And there will definitely be some bugs and complaining about certain features that they should change. You know, standard Let's Player stuff. So, the plague has ravaged the British Isles, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Untold millions went to an early grave, and those left standing were plunged into poverty, brutally scarred by the horrors that they had witnessed. Nothing would ever be the same. So, let's go ahead and pause. And I'm not sure if there's a way to turn off the, yeah, we don't need the tutorial tips. That's kind of why I'm here. And I have played this, played a lot, actually. If I check, it might show me how long I've been playing. But essentially, I have 27 of the 31 achievements so far. Um, so that should tell you that I have played this quite a bit. And I really enjoy it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put down a little stockpile right here. So everything will be here. Unforbid this stuff because we do want them to, be able to pick the stuff up. And so a big part of this game is, or a big part of how you deal with your items is they decompose after a certain period of time. Certain items do better inside, so like food, temperature, and the elements will lead to decomposing. Things like wood, linen, that type of stuff. As long as it's on a floor, it's not as big of a deal. It'll always tell you like what's causing this item to decompose. So to start off with, we need to build a house so that our people have some place to live. So I'm thinking what we start off with, and maybe we'll unpause at some point this episode, hopefully, is we'll cut that area right there. And I keep like trying to get the camera the square up here. So I'm sorry if it's like moving around a bunch. So actually let's go ahead and unpause. Spacebar's pause. You have one speed, 2, and 3. We're just going to stick with 1 for right now. So we do have some wood to start off with, and that might be enough to get the floor down so stuff isn't decomposing quite as quickly. So we're definitely going to want a building over here. And for future sort of planning, I do want it. I want the inside to be at least 4. To start off with, it's fine to have everyone sort of in their own room. I don't believe there's any debuff for sharing a room, but there is a buff for having their own room. So that's kind of our goal, but I don't really want to spend the wood making separate rooms just yet. I'd rather them be able to have their own rooms, and then rooms later when we have more time, more resources. I just kind of want to get them an initial room that they can all sleep in for the night, so that they don't get super unhappy that they slept outside. And then in the future, we can worry about that. Worry about getting them separate rooms. So here's the big sort of difference between this game and RimWorld is it's 3D, and you can mess with layers, multiple levels, layers, that type of thing. So currently, as this roof starts getting put up, it's going to be harder to kind of see what you're doing underneath. So if you hit Control and the scroll wheel, sometimes you do have to click like on a building to get it to work properly. But doing that or Z and X will kind of shift between layers. Let's go ahead and get some sleeping spots. Right now, it's not a big deal to have them sleeping on the ground. All right, so we have 3 people, and they all have jobs. So if you've never played RimWorld, I will be referencing it, but I will explain some things for anyone who hasn't played RimWorld. So the way this works is left-clicking and right-clicking will increase the priority of a job or decrease it. And the people will go from left to right, hitting everything in a 1. Excuse me. And then they'll go through everything that's a 2, then a 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So I tend to put tend and convalesce at 1 because I want those people to prioritize doing those things first. So tending and convalescing is if someone's hurt, basically. And then anyone who has passion for something, I usually put them up to a 2. And obviously you can change this stuff at any point. Tailoring obviously is not as important right now. Neither is carpentry. But things like cut plants, construct in particular, which we will probably have them, for right now at least, up at a 2. Schedule, I don't really mess with this too much. You give them sort of like a set time to go to bed, and the rest of the time is kind of up to them. And usually they know what they want to do. So let's take a look here. They have a passion for marksmanship. Then I want to make sure they have a ranged weapon. That was Cameron. So definitely make sure you have a ranged weapon, and the rest will just take whatever weapon they can get. So let's continue on. So one of the big mistakes that I did, or that I did in my first campaign of this, was I did not make a proper cellar. So obviously, since this is in medieval times, they didn't really have like coolers or anything. So the best way to preserve your food and make sure that it doesn't rot is to dig down 2 stories into a closed cellar, and then that will preserve your food. Anything less, the food will decompose. Sometimes very slowly, but again, you really don't want to lose food because it decomposes. It's really annoying, and something that I kind of hope they change a little going forward. So I'm going to have them sort of mine that area. Looks like they're going to get right on that, which is good. Do this early if you can. There's definitely a lot of things that we need to do. Another thing will be a campfire. so that they can actually cook their food. And then we'll need sort of like an area to uh, do research. Research is very important because at the moment we don't have any research. We can't research anything. And if we don't start doing that soon, we won't be able to plant crops, which would not be good. That would be very, very bad if we didn't get some crops started soon, because we're kind of running, we have a very limited supply of food to start off with. Not too bad, but again, not a position we really want to be in for very long. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. 2, 3, 4. So I specifically had this spot mined out because this is clay, and that'll give us a little extra clay to work with. We can actually go ahead and I'll tell our guys that this is not forbidden, so they will go ahead and pick it up. Same with some of these mushrooms. So I should probably go ahead and explain what I'm doing, what all these symbols down here mean. So chop is more specifically for trees and wood. When you harvest ruined, when you select chop, it will chop, I think, all trees, regardless of how big they actually are. Should have the guy with passion prioritize that. This cuts any type of plant regardless of where it's at in its growth. Audrey really shouldn't be cutting plants because she keeps like destroying them. It's really kind of annoying that that keeps doing that. Personally, I haven't technically designated any other spot. Start off with, I should probably be placing a couple of stick traps in our sort of area, just so if we have any early attacks, which I don't think the game really gives you any attacks until very late in spring. So you're not hard pressed to get defenses set up super quickly. But again, I don't really want to waste too much time. Okay, so hopefully they'll take care of that. You know, a bunch of stick traps, they kind of all prioritize doing that. Yeah, let's go ahead and get sort of our initial kind of tavern-like building set up. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 6. 6. Can I probably have to cancel this? So this is the finicky part of... Ooh, they did add in more for deconstruct, I think. So it doesn't always work like how it should. So it doesn't always deconstruct right on top of what you're trying to actually deconstruct. Okay, looks like he is building the it's interesting. I don't remember doing that. This is mine, this is hunt, this is allow resources that are currently forbidden. Just clarify, because I remember I was talking about that and then got distracted, like I usually do. If you want to cancel like what you're doing, so let's say I don't actually want to place down this wall, right click and that will go away. Again, all of this stuff is explained in the tutorial, but if okay, if I let the tutorial explain everything, then what's kind of the point of me playing it? You could just watch the tutorial. So when all of your colonists are asleep, the game will automatically go up to speed 3, which and that's a nice little touch. I like that. Because like you don't really need to sit here watching them sleep. One, that's a little creepy, but also just unnecessary. And if you want, you can always pause the game while it's doing that, so you can plan and stuff. When placing down doors, for whatever reason, you can't like hit R to rotate. Let's say I wanted it to open the other way. The only real way to get that to work properly is if you already have a door there and do something like this. So now it's a double door and it will open like how you think it should. Okay. Just to make things look kind of nice, we'll have some windows here. Did someone mine that spot? Anyways, let's see. Here's the good one with mining Cameron. So if you want someone to do something, have them selected and right click to prioritize them doing whatever you want them to do. Sorry for that like weird little pause type thing. I accidentally hit the Windows button. I'm trying to hit Control. Might have to mine that spot as well. We should definitely have these guys on hauling duty. I'm usually a big fan of having everyone kind of have a high haul, just so they're not leaving stuff laying around and then you can't do anything in that spot. Because otherwise these walls would be built already. But because there's a bunch of clay sitting there, they won't build them for reasons. So this should be a default stockpile. Shouldn't have too many issues there. We definitely want a research table right here. Again, did we ended up not getting anyone good with research? Yeah. Gonna have to be you, Cameron. I've noticed this, where like one person is really good at everything that you really need, and then and the other two are only good at certain things that you don't really need quite as much. And I'm not sure if that's just why that is. Okay. Doesn't look like we can build our roof that way. So the roofs can only span so far. You do have to kind of keep that in mind. Surprisingly, we're already coming to that point in the episode. Okay, cool. Looks like they just finished building the research table, which is actually a great note where to leave off. So next episode, I will go ahead and kind of explain how the research is going to work in this game, and we'll sort of build our roadmap. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.